The man undressed his wife, but what he saw was thick, coarse hair covering her body. Startled, he grabbed the kerosene lamp beside him. Peering closely, he realized his eyes had not deceived him. In the flickering light, her beard stood out, every strand visible. He spat on his hand and tried to wipe it away, but it would not disappear. Every day, Loaysa had to lather her cheeks with soap like a man and shave off the hair. Otherwise, anyone who saw a bearded woman would flee in terror. Now, her new husband looked at her as if she were a monster, his face twisted with horror. Outsiders saw a tall young woman, pale and delicate, but every night Loaysa was haunted by nightmares, because once she shed her heavy, comfortable clothes, her dense body hair revealed her deepest wound. Her father had long worried she would never marry. He saved every penny, scrimping and sacrificing, until he gathered a generous dowry. When his daughter came of age, he chose a husband for her. On the day of the meeting, the girl spent 2 full hours dressing up. Before leaving, she even prayed to the Virgin. Then her father took her away from their hometown. Though it was an arranged marriage, Loaysa did not resist. She dreamed of being a mother. Father and daughter carried a cart full of dowry and traveled far to a small town. The next morning, her father waited nervously in Watts Cafe, terrified the match would fail again. Before getting out of the carriage, the girl carefully retouched her makeup, determined to appear at her best. Her father listed her virtues, and when the man heard there was a dowry of 30,000 francs, he readily agreed. He had expected an old, ugly bride, but instead saw a young, beautiful woman. He was instantly captivated. What had been wounded in the war, unable to do physical labor, he borrowed money to open a cafe. Now old and in debt, he suddenly had both love and bread. He thought himself the happiest man alive, but he had no idea. It was the beginning of a nightmare. When alone, the woman eagerly spoke of wanting children. What trembled between fear and secret joy, he felt fortune had finally chosen him. After only one meeting, they set the wedding for the next day. She wore a white gown, and together they walked into the church, vowing love before God. But as soon as the ceremony ended, her father hurried off in a carriage, leaving her alone to face her fears. That night, the bride sat before her mirror, making sure her stubble was hidden. Only then did she walk slowly into the bedroom. What could no longer restrain himself, he embraced his young bride tightly. But when he undid her clothes, what he saw left him dumbstruck. In that moment, he discovered her secret. Enraged, he stormed out, leaving her in endless despair. The next day, she entered the cafe. Faced with his murderous glare, she patiently explained. She had seen many doctors as a child. It was not contagious. There was simply no cure in those times. When customers arrived, she greeted them with grace. But at night, she endured rejection and humiliation. Finally, her heart went cold. She walked down a deserted street and stopped at a ruined building. Meanwhile, Watt found a book. It described women with excess hair. He realized such people truly existed. The next day, someone told him his wife had gone to the ruins. Guilt gnawed at him. He followed the trail, and when he found her, he begged her to return. She had calmed down. She knew he needed time, and she had nowhere else to go. Soon she discovered his debts and realized how poor they really were. Determined to help, she searched for solutions. One day, reading the paper, she saw an ad for a circus. She had an idea. She would use her unusual feature to draw crowds. She even bet a customer that she could grow a beard. Then she sewed a dazzling gown and let the hair grow freely. It meant reopening her wound, but it was the only way to fill the cafe. A month later, the cafe was packed. Everyone came to witness the strange sight. She descended the stairs in her gown, her face framed by a thick beard. The room fell silent. The men were shocked, curious. Some even trembled as they touched her face. Then, unexpectedly, one praised her beard. For the first time, she heard admiration. She smiled with confidence, welcoming guests without shame. Her energy, her boldness, dissolved fear, and soon cleared her husband's debts. The cafe flourished. She became famous. Reporters photographed her. Her unique beauty spread across the land. Watt's financial burden lifted, but the world never lacks malice. The mine owner targeted Watt and courted his wife to flaunt himself. After she rejected him, he spread rumors, even set a fire and framed her. Villagers began to believe she cursed the town. Their adoration turned to fear. They pinned her to a wall. Scissors cut her face, drawing blood. Watt could bear no more. He rushed out to protect her. The villagers gathered to judge her. They demanded proof she was a woman. A doctor examined her. Yes, she was female, but she could never bear children. Her condition came from ovarian cysts and hormonal imbalance. This news broke her more than any wound, for she had always longed for a child. Watt's heart ached. The next day, away. He gently trimmed her beard, lifting the shadow from her heart. Then he took her to an orphanage. There, a little girl was not afraid. She stroked her beard softly and asked her to return again. The kindness made her weep. From then on, What's face showed only love. Their marriage grew warm, but happiness was short-lived. Disaster struck again. When they tried to adopt a child, the mine owner intervened. The orphanage rejected them. Her pain was unbearable. She put on her wedding gown and went to a charity performance just to see the little girl again. When their eyes met, she held back tears until she fainted. As she collapsed, she glimpsed her husband's anxious figure. When she awoke, her beard was gone. Her father had come to take her home. Broken-hearted, she fled. She ran to a bridge, looked back one last time at her husband, and leapt into the dark river. She never expected what would dive in after her. She fought the current, clutching his hand tightly. If they could not fight the world's cruelty together, then they would seek a pure land in another world. In that moment, they were more than husband and wife. They were comrades in arms. They held each other up. They leaned on each other. Their bond had surpassed all earthly love and desire.